For my project, I'm going to show you guys how apple cider is made in the 1800s. The first thing I want to do is tell you guys all of the items and ingredients that you're going to need to make the apple cider. The ingredients that you're going to need are 1½ cup of sugar, 4 cinnamon sticks, 4 tablespoons of ground allspice, and 4 tablespoons of mulling spice. You're going to need 8 apples. I have 4 Gala and 4 Granny Smith. And the reason I chose these apples is because one is a more sweet apple and one is more tart. You will need a knife and a cutting board to quarter the apples and a large stock pot. The items you'll need to prepare with are some type of item you can use to mash the apples. I'm using a potato smasher, but in the 1800s they may have used some sort of wooden mallet. You'll need cheesecloth, which will help to filter the pulp from coming into the cider while you're mashing the apples. In the 1800s, they may have used some type of thin cloth as their filter. And last, you're going to need any gallon-sized container that can hold the cider. Next, I'm going to show you how to prepare the cider. First, you should always wash your hands. Okay, now you need to quarter the apples. And there's no need to remove the peels and the seeds. If you have large apples, you should cut them into smaller pieces in addition to quartering them. Now that your apples are all quartered, you need to add them to your stock pot. And then you need to fill it with just enough water to cover the apples. Any more water? Not bad. Any more? Okay. Okay, now you have to add your sugar. Okay, now you add your, now you have to wrap your cinnamon sticks into a cheesecloth and then tie them. I'll show you how to do that. And then that is what it should look like. And then you just put it in. Okay, and then here's something. Okay, now you have to add your allspice and put them in your rolling spice and put it in there. Okay, now you have to boil on high for 1 hour uncovered and check it frequently. Okay, now I'm going to turn the stove on high. And then I'm going to mix it slightly, and then I'm going to let it boil for an hour. So after boiling on high for 1 hour, you decrease the heat and let it simmer for an additional 2 hours covered. So after your 2 hours are up and you've allowed it to cool, you remove your spices. As a side note, we will be using a fire in the 1800s instead of a stove, and we'd be using a cloth instead of a strainer. So after you remove all your spices, you're going to pour it into a strainer over a large bowl. So after your apples are in the strainer, you're going to take the masher and you're going to mash the apples. And if we were in the 1800s, we'd be using a wooden mallet in replace of the masher. When most of the juice has drained away, put the remainder of the pulp into a cloth and squeeze over the bowl until no more juice comes out. Finally, the apple cider can be set aside to cool and serve, and you can make a fire and heat the apple cider and serve it warm. And now I'm going to try the apple cider. This is homemade apple cider from the 1800s.